Nor is an ugly, talentless loser born into a simple hillside family. His only skill is parrying, but he dreams of becoming the strongest adventurer out there. Despite numerous setbacks and rejections, he trains tirelessly for years to master the elusive parry skill and becomes the most powerful. Nor is an ugly loser stuck in his dead-end job of cleaning out the gutters and canals of the city at the break of dawn. Before morning, he has to finish removing all the wastes and put back their wood coverings before the citizens pay him. After his morning work, he heads outside the city towards the construction site, where he carries sacks and does manual labor the whole day. When afternoon arrives, Nor hears someone screaming for help in the nearby dungeon. He quickly runs to help and sees a group of knights protecting a tied-up girl against a huge cow monster. 15 years ago, at the Northwest Clay's kingdom, Nor is still just a normal boy doing chores at home. He tends to the fire, boils some hot water, and prepares hot tea for his ailing mother. Afterward, he has to go to the fields and tend to their flock of goats. He promises his mom he won't go beyond the rock that borders their land, and also promises to bring home a wild rabbit for dinner. Before he leaves, his mother wipes away the soot on Nor's face and apologizes for being a burden for him. All she wants is for Nor to live the life he wants. Later that night, Nor prepares their rabbit soup for dinner, but when he brings a bowl for his mother has already passed away. He buries his mom next to his dad, and Nor's life living alone begins. He does his best tending to their gardens, hunting wild game in the forest, and taking care of their goats and chickens. Likewise, he keeps their house clean and even tries to read the boring books left in the house. He also collects firewood, catches fish in the nearby river, and herds the goats around the grassy hill. He was all alone in his house, with no one to eat his meals with. One night, Nor is exploring the shelves of their house when he accidentally falls on his butt after finding a book. Upon opening the book, he was amazed to see that it was the story his father used to read to him when he was still alive. His father used to tell him stories of an adventurer who slayed a gigantic dragon with his friends, learned spells and magic from an old sorcerer, removed a curse put on a dark forest, and even obtained the medicine that cures everything from the king of the dead. Even against anything and how dark their situation is, the adventurer never gives up and fights evil for the sake of his friends. Nor was so happy listening to his father's words, and now he also remembers his mother's wish of him living the life he wants. The next day, he leaves out a lot of food for their animals, and Nor visits the grave of his parents. He offers them flowers and tells them that for the first time in his life, he will be leaving town. He will become an adventurer, just like the ones in his father's stories. He heads down the hill they call home, and Nor stares at the stones marking the end of their land. He hardens his resolve and walks past the barrier protecting their home. When night falls, Nor is scared of all the noises coming out of the forest. Nevertheless, he perseveres, and a few days later, he finally reaches a city. After asking directions from the soldiers guarding the gate, Nor steps into his first foray into civilization. His eyes widen to see so many people around doing various things. He walks past vendors selling fruits and even sees an adventurer passing by. His eyes are filled with wonder and happiness as he heads to his destination, the Adventurers Guild. Unfortunately, the man behind the counter takes one look at Nor and shoos him away. The guild is not a place for kids. Nor insists that the guards already told him he can be an adventurer if he just applied here. But the man just points out that he will worry his parents. Nor explains that his parents are both dead, which finally catches the attention of the man. The man then asks for his name and tells him to go to the training school for different classes first. He explains to Nor that people hoping to register with the Royal Capital's Adventurer Guild has to go to lessons at the Royal Training School. There, they will get training based on their job class. If Nor really wants to be an adventurer, he first needs to acquire some skills. This may be in the art of the sword or in the school of magic. Nor smiles at the explanation, and he is filled with determination. Thus, Nor heads to the Academy for Swordsmanship. Just like in the stories, he will become a swordsman who can defeat a dragon with just a single swing of his blade. Training was intense in the academy, with hopeful adventurers doing their best beside Nor. Nor is also doing his best, practicing swinging his sword. One student manages to make his training sword blaze with fire, which catches the attention of their teacher. The student celebrates that he awakened his powers, while Noor just goes back to training with renewed single-mindedness. A few months pass and Noor is still swinging his training sword around. However, the instructor tells him that he has done enough. Unfortunately, it looks like he doesn't have the talent for the sword. Noor insists that he just needs a little more time, but the instructor has made his decision. Any more training would just be a waste of Noor's time. The only thing he managed to master was parrying to evade an attack. Thus, he advises Noor to choose another path besides the sword. After all, there are other training schools, too. Thus, Noor heads over the training school for warriors and tanks. He now wants to become the shield that protects his fellow adventurers. Inside the school, he trained his body by pulling weights and building muscles. A few months later, the instructor informs Noor that he has very good determination, but all he managed to earn is a good body. The art of the warrior is not for Noor. If he forces himself to continue, he might lose his life in the training. Noor once again changes schools, and he heads toward the hunter's school next. Unfortunately, the instructor there also found out that he cannot handle any sort of delicate weaponry. This goes on at other schools too. At the thief's school, the master thief informs him he cannot dismantle traps, and he also doesn't have the ability to sense other people's presence. At the magician's school, the only magic he can produce is a tiny flame at the tip of his finger. At the cleric's school, the priest sadly explains to him that he can only use low-level healing. Noor sadly heads back to the Adventurers Guild, where the man there was surprised to learn that Noor didn't manage to learn one decent skill. He spent 3 months at each of the schools, but alas, he didn't obtain a class. With a heavy heart, the man rejects Noor's application to be an adventurer. Noor leaves the city with his eyes downcast. He is not a prodigy meant to become an adventurer. Noor goes back to his house and heads to his mom and dad's grave, apologizing to both of them for failing them. He admits that he does not possess any talents, but still, he refuses to give up and decides to train even harder from now on. By carving wood, he creates a wooden sword for himself, and just as his swordsmanship instructors advise, he decides to practice the one skill that he has repeatedly, hoping that it will enable him to master a new skill. Having neither sandbags nor training dummies, this unfortunate kid begins to practice his parrying skill with ropes and sticks. He trains mornings after nights for 1 year consistently, and masters it to the point that he becomes able to parry 10 swords in one breath. Even though it has been a year, Noor still hasn't unlocked any new skills. But Bro still has high hopes as he is getting better at parrying and continuously trains this single skill for the next 3 years as well. He has grown much bigger after this time jump, and his training dummies have changed as well. They have taken on the shape of much larger swords now and look more organized. Noor can even shake 100 swords in one breath now. But what still hasn't changed is Bro's poor skill set. He realizes that if this keeps going on, he will never be able to become an adventurer. But the dream of becoming the strongest adventurer keeps him going. Because he has trained the same skill for more than 4 years, he has so much innate strength that he can even break his sword just by squishing it with his bare hands. He gets his hopes up when suddenly he notices that he can heal his own hand for a moment. So he continues training like a champ for 10 more years. After this time period, Noor's parry skill becomes so overpowered to the point that a single slash from his sword can shake the entire forest around him. It is all thanks to his restless training for more than 14 years that he can now parry 1,000 wooden swords at once. But he still isn't satisfied with it because, unfortunately, he hasn't managed to unlock any new skills. But Bro decides to give it one last shot and bids goodbye to his parents' graves before leaving for the town. Upon reaching the Adventurers Guild, he submits another form with the added skills Parry, Low Heal, Stone Throw, Feather Step, and Tiny Flame. These skills look very measly, so the new guild receptionist suggests that Noor go to a training school first. However, Noor has already gone through that process. So the receptionist politely refuses to register him as an adventurer. I mean, people should really see what Noor is capable of before judging him. The guildmaster comes there and fails to recognize Noor at first sight, but upon closer inspection, he realizes that this bulky, tall man is the same frail kid from 14 years ago. Noor criminally undermines how strong his parry skill is and tells the guildmaster that after 14 years of restless training, he has only been able to improve his parrying skill a little. Really, Noor? A little? Anyway, the Guildmaster expresses how much he wants Noor to achieve his dream. But because Noor doesn't have at least 2 useful skills, which are the prerequisites for becoming an E- ranked adventurer, he can't do anything. However, the Guildmaster remembers a way to register Noor as an adventurer by assigning him the extinct F rank, the lowest of the lowest ranks that perhaps nobody else in this world has. The Guildmaster tells Noor not to get too excited because F-ranked adventurers have many restrictions and conditions on taking jobs. For example, an F-ranked adventurer is forbidden from taking any adventurer quests that involve unaliving anything or going out of the city to gather items. The only thing that is allowed are miscellaneous tasks inside the city. Basically, if Noor becomes an F-ranked adventurer, he will be an unofficial laborer. Still, he is okay with that, and so he gets his adventurer license from the Guildmaster. Being overjoyed by this achievement, Noor heads out of the Adventurers Guild and immediately starts taking quests in the town. Using his physical enhancement skill, he becomes able to lift way more than the average person and delivers heavy items with ease. Using his feather step skill, he captures a lost cat without revealing his presence and delivers it back to the commissioner. The cat puts scratches on his face, so he uses his low heal skill and immediately heals up his wounds. In the evening, he continues to train his parry skill even more, and at night, he cooks delicious meals using his low flame skill for the elderly in need. With these measly skills, he has become useful to the people of this town, and that itself is enough to fill his heart with contentment. The next day, he does cleaning work, laboring work, and even helps with instruction. And after completing his commission for the day, that is when he hears the screams of a girl begging for help from the faraway cave. Noor rushes to the cave to help the person in need and becomes shocked to see that a huge minotaur with an axe is trying to attack an innocent-looking girl. There are many knights who are trying to protect the girl, but they stand no chance against this terrifying monster. Seeing that all of these knights are dying in vain, Noor steps up with a sword and uses his only skill, parry, to counter the monster's deadly attacks. Although he has distracted the monster for long enough for the girl to escape, the dumb girl is too terrified to move. Eventually, the monster targets her again, but Noor jumps in front of her and parries another attack, which ends up destroying his sword. As the monster puts all his strength into his next attack, Noor parries once again with all his might, which causes the monster's axe to ricochet and hit its own neck, decapitating it completely. With the monster dead, the girl gets free of her constraints and thanks Noor for saving her life. She asks for his name, but because he doesn't think of himself as anyone important, he doesn't tell her anything and walks away from the limelight. Upon returning to the city, Noor starts calling himself a weakling for barely surviving against a wild cow. Bro didn't even realize that the cow he defeated just now was a powerful demon minotaur. He truly is the most clueless person in anime history. After the brutal battle with the minotaur, the others are now trying to clean up everything. They start removing the large battle axe embedded in the building and clean up the minotaur's body. Nearby, the bodies of the fallen are laid out and the white-haired girl, Lin, is paying her respects. A guard knight of hers, Inez, comes running over and apologizes to Lin for not accompanying her. However, Lin insists that Inez had done nothing wrong. It was her who insisted on traveling alone for the right of succession. Another knight, Darchan, approaches them and informs them that they should return to the castle post-haste. After all, their lord would want to hear the details of the event. At the castle, Darchan reports to Lord Rain of everything that happened. A minotaur from the abyss, the dungeon's innermost depths, had been summoned. They guess that this is an assassination attempt on Lin since they found a ring on a corpse nearby. They had the ring examined by the spell sovereign Orphan and found a mana stone too pure to be found on the market. Orphan then traced the spell pattern remaining on the mana stone and concluded that it originated from the magic empire of Doritas. However, this is no ordinary assassination attempt. They also restrained the princess and didn't even hide the evidence. This must mean that Doritas wanted to start a war. Lord Rain guesses that they must be after the Dungeon of the Lost and the treasures inside it. As for Lin's savior, they have nothing on him. He just slew the minotaur with a simple sword and then vanished like a phantom. Even their spy group, the Shadow Company, failed to follow him. Lord Rain wondered who this hero could be. Meanwhile, at the guildmaster was happily surprised upon seeing Nor. Nor wonders why, so the guildmaster explains how a monster had shown up in the dungeon entrance and caused a lot of chaos. Since Nor worked at the nearby construction site, the guildmaster became worried when Nor didn't show up after work. Nor admits that he actually just went home yesterday since some suspicious people were trying to tailing him yesterday. As for his current disheveled appearance, he just also returned from cleaning the gutters. The guildmaster was just glad that Nor didn't run into the monster. They heard that even a class adventurers would probably die against it. Nor was amazed to learn that such strong monsters exist in this world. He had no idea that they were actually talking about the Minotaur, since Nor still thinks he just fought a random cow yesterday. Their conversation then led to the mystery man who killed the monster in one blow and mysteriously disappeared. Again, Nor was amazed to learn that there are super strong people out there. Nor really needs to add some status points to knowledge, not just parrying. For now, Nor receives his payment for cleaning the gutter. They were then interrupted when a cloaked figure suddenly appeared. It was the white-haired girl that Nor had saved yesterday, Princess Lin. Of course, Nor has no idea who she is. Lin apologizes for using a tracking spell on Nor, which made Nor think she is from the Thief Academy. However, Lin corrects him and says she is from the Magician branch, but she also studies the other schools. Nor was amazed at her. While the other people at the guild started to recognize Lin, Lin notices this and asks if she can speak to Nor in private outside. Before they can leave, the guildmaster grabs Nor and asks him what he did. Nor assures him that he didn't do anything wrong, but Lin even volunteers to use soundproofing and concealment magic to help them leave. Nor still has no idea who Lin is and asks the guildmaster if he should follow her. The guildmaster quickly tells him that he should, but warns Nor not to do anything to offend her. Nor doesn't understand why, but agrees. Out in the streets, soldiers are still looking for Nor, but Nor and Lin just pass by them thanks to the concealment magic. When they reach a secluded area, Lin dispels the magic and apologizes again to Nor. She just wanted to properly show her gratitude for saving her life. He didn't just save her life, but many of their kingdom's citizens. Nor insists that she would have probably been fine without him since she has plenty of great skills, but Lin argues that without him, she doesn't know what would have happened to her. To end their argument, Nor finally accepts her gratitude. However, Lin now wants to show her gratitude to Nor. She offers him all of her and her family's resources to help Nor. Nor quickly says no and tells her that her words of gratitude are enough. This surprises Lin, and she insists that her father also wants to thank Nor in person. However, Nor still declines. Whatever Lin offered, may it be land or a solution to any of Nor's problems, Nor just turns everything down. Nor is so good at parrying that he even parries everything she offers. Tears soon welled up in Lin's eyes, which confused Nor. Lin then proclaims that she won't budge from where she's standing until Nor allows her to properly repay him. This time, her words actually reverberated in Nor's heart, since Nor had used those exact same words when he was applying for the adventurers' training schools. Left with no choice, Nor lets out a sigh of surrender and finally agrees to meet Lin's father. This finally makes Lin happy, but Nor also insists that he won't accept any over-the-top reward. Lin puts back the concealment spell on top of them, and she leads Nor to their house. Nor was amazed at the grandiosity of the house, but Lin just ushered him past the guards. While walking inside, Lin asks Nor for his name. Nor introduces himself and asks for Lin's name in return. Lin realizes that she still hasn't actually introduced herself, so she stops and formally gives out her name, Linberg Clays, or Lin for short. While walking through the gigantic hallway, Nor wonders how this pretty little girl owns such a huge house. He keeps looking around and comes to the conclusion that Lin is a wealthy noble, which explains why the guildmaster earlier advised him to be polite around her. The royal knight Inez comes walking there, so Lin excitedly runs to her, asking her if she knows where Lin's father is. According to Inez, Lin's father, King, is in the audience chamber talking to Lin's brother at the moment. Inez becomes wary of this middle-aged, ugly-looking gutter man and asks Lin if she is being held hostage by him. Lin explains to Anise, telling her that Nor is the mysterious man who saved her from the Minotaur attack yesterday. Understanding that Nor is here to receive the reward, Anise offers to show both of them the way to the king's chambers. Nor, on the other hand, who has no idea what Anise's position is, assumes that she is Lin's maid. Assuming that she does laundry and household stuff here, he wonders why she is wearing such a heavy outfit. Bro is literally the most clueless person ever, and I am here for it. The three of them keep walking together when suddenly Nor notices that a ginger man is sitting beside a window. The ginger man named Gilbert flexes his spell and even attacks Nor, asking him how an ugly loser like him has been given permission to enter here. Before things escalate, Anise clarifies to Gilbert that Nor is Lady Lin's guest, making Gilbert realize that Nor is the mysterious man who one-shot the Minotaur yesterday. Anise whispers to Gilbert, telling him to join them as well as that she is wary of Nor and what he might do if he is alone with their precious princess. So Gilbert joins the escort gang as well and heads together with them. Meanwhile, King Clays learns from Lin's brother that the Doritas Empire is behind the attack on Lin. Apparently, this kingdom and the Doritas Empire have a non-aggression treaty, and so King Clay wonders why they are suddenly trying to break that treaty. During an earlier meeting with the Emperor of the Doritas Empire, the Emperor made it clear that he wanted the rights to the dungeon of these kingdoms because of the treasures that lay there. The Emperor also wanted the military prowess of King Clay's army, claiming that both parties would benefit if Clay complied since there would be no war. Clays makes it clear that he doesn't want to give away his country to a greedy emperor, so he decides with his son Rain that they will go against the Doritas Empire. Lin enters the room and becomes overjoyed just by seeing her father there. She and the knights show proper respect to their king, but the blockhead, who has no idea who King Clays is, just casually walks up to him. Rain notices that Lin is wearing the cloak of the hermit, so he asks her why she took it out without permission. Lin explains, saying that she did so in order to conceal her identity as she went outside to seek out her savior. Speaking of which, she introduces her savior, Nor, to the king, who comes down to him, thanking him for personally coming here to see them. Nor immediately apologizes to King Clays for not knowing the proper manners of how to speak with nobles and apologizes in advance if he accidentally does anything rude. His speaking super casually with the king of this kingdom makes Clay laugh. In any case, the king thanks Nor once again for saving his only daughter's life. And with that, Nor gets excited as he can now leave and go back home to get a much-needed shower, as he himself can smell the stench of the gutter coming from his body. Of course, the king cannot let the hero who saved his daughter's life go empty-handed, so he tells Nor to go ahead and asks for any reward that comes to his mind. But just as he said before, Nor has no desire for wealth, land, or power, as he is content with all he has. Still, the king persists, and so he allures Nor, telling him that this kingdom is home to the world's oldest dungeon and generously offers him half of the treasures of the dungeon. But Nor once again rejects him, stating that he genuinely doesn't need any grand rewards and promises Clays that his words of gratitude are enough of a reward. Still, the king doesn't want Nor to leave empty-handed, so he interests him with his own personal dark longsword. It's nothing more than a decoration now because Clays has retired from battling in the front lines, but still, Clays believes that it is the very best this kingdom has to offer. Nor grabs the sword and immediately feels the pressure coming from it. His interests are piqued by the beauty of this sword, and since he just heard from Clay that this sword is nothing more than a decoration, he thinks that it may not hold any importance. So, he agrees to take it and also decides to give it a try. He first uses his physical enhancement skill to make it easy for him to hold the sword, and then he uses his parry skill, which creates a heavy shockwave, giving everyone present there an idea of how powerful Nor is. The king is quite surprised and impressed to see that Nor can wield such a heavy sword using only one hand, and so he requests that Nor train Lin so that she can become worthy of defending herself. Nor strongly believes that he has no such skills that are good for training another person, And he also mentions that it should be Lin's decision if she wants to train, not Clay's. The king agrees and laughs, and for now, lets Nor leave, thanking him once again for saving Lin. While walking out of the castle, Nor wonders how he is going to make use of this sword. The gutter smell coming from him reminds him of the size of the gutter, so he decides to use this sword to scoop out the trash out of the drainage. I bet the king and his royal knights will pass away at the same time if they find this dumb idiot cleaning the gutters with the king's most valued legendary grade weapon. Inez approaches Nor, as she wants to have a personal conversation with him, and goes down on her knees, apologizing to him for not treating him like a hero should be treated earlier. Apparently, it is Inez's duty to shield the royal family from all harm, and that is why she was wary of Nor earlier. Nor finally realizes that Inez isn't a maid and becomes even more baffled to learn that she is the vice captain of the warrior corps. According to Inez, she has been known as the Divine Shield since her childhood and has been given the duty to protect Lady Lin. And since Nor has fulfilled Inez's duty during her absence, Inez owes him her life and promises to become someone who he can depend on for his needs. As Inez takes her leave, Gilbert approaches Nor next, challenging him to a duel as he wants to see what this guy is all about. At this point, I don't think Nor will ever be able to go back home. That's it for this video. Guys, if you liked this episode, please leave a like and subscribe for more anime content. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.